Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be working on an A4 sized acrylic canvas paper. For colours, I'm going to be using buff titanium, titanium white, ultramarine blue, Prussian blue, primary red and cadmium free yellow. I also have a jar of water, a spray bottle, a dry cloth. Today is going to be a challenge painting, so I'm going to try and paint an entire painting using only this palette knife and this wide flat palette knife. So starting off, I'm just going to very lightly spray my canvas paper just so that it's a little bit moist for me to get started with. Then grabbing my wide palette knife, I'm going to start off by taking some white and just smearing it. I'm also going to be taking some buff titanium . And just going in again to spray, just to keep our surface nice and moist. We'll kind of go up and down. I'm going to go in with some titanium white and ultramarine blue. So I'm going to grab the two of them together with my knife and do the same here. I'm just going to add some blue, then I'm going to grab some Prussian blue. Might spray my canvas again just to keep the surface nice and moist. Maybe grab some Prussian blue and quickly we're just mapping out our colours as we go. I'm going to add some of that blue there. Just kind of playing around with my movements. I don't want it to be all straight, so you can just feel free. Working on a canvas paper is very different to working on a canvas. It's kind of like you're working on fabric almost. I'm going to grab some of that white. Just bring that in there. Oops. And then with that, I'm going to grab my cloth. I'm going to wipe off any excess paint that I have left on there, and then I'm going to go in with some more titanium white in the middle, and I might add a hint of yellow just through there, just to kind of maybe give the depiction of some sun. And then go back in with some titanium white. It doesn't have to be smooth, it doesn't have to be any kind of, I'm kind of trying to going back and forth and melting the colours together. Again, spraying the canvas. Just kind of going forward and back. And what I'm going to do is whatever paint is left onto my canvas, I'm going to kind of go upwards and create these, and maybe even do some little branches like so. Maybe another one here. Not going too dark with the blue in the center. Just to kind of create these depictions of just using only we're just creating these kind of silhouettes of trees, and I'm using only this palette knife to create the illusions, and we can kind of start to map out some branches. It's kind of all faded and misty, which I love. I think this looks beautiful. Then grabbing with my Prussian blue, we're going to do the same, but in this part of the forest. So just grabbing some of that Prussian blue to stand out a bit more. We're kind of going forwards like so. And then doing any kind of branches that we think will fit. And you can slowly see it coming together. You can grab some of that Prussian blue and add that to the floor here, just kind of going up and down. And just brush out. This is very much, you can do what you want. This is freestyle. This is absolutely not planned in any way. So this is going to be completely unplanned in the way that it's formed, and it's all organic. And I love this kind of abstract because this is where we follow our intuition versus trying to paint the most perfect painting. We're just going with our creativity. Okay, I absolutely love where this is going. So I'm gonna just do some more. I'm using that Prussian blue and might have to put a bit more actually. I'm almost done with it. Okay. Just kind of do some lines on this side here, and then maybe some on this side. Just dragging up the brush, and then the same on that side. I am happy with where that is so far. I think I love this kind of faded out trees that we've got going on here. And remove all of that paint built up on there. Okay, now we're going to go in with our palette knife, and we're going to start adding some yellow, grabbing a bit of titanium white. I'm going to put down these very small . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . very light petals. Because we can't use a brush, we've got to just be creative. I'm also going to add some of these to the darker parts as well. And just very slowly I'm just adding them piece by piece. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with how that looks. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix this primary red and cadmium yellow and make an orange. Take some of that buff titanium as well. And we're going to start adding some florals into it. You're going to need more, more titanium white. And just going to start by placing these organic shapes that will be giving the impression of flowers without actually having to paint flowers. Okay, I'm just adding these in. Adding them in slowly by slowly. And then adding some more yellow. Like so. Kind of do these. I'm dragging my palette knife. To get this kind of petal. Very happy with how this is turning out. Now what I'm going to do is add some of these using this side of my palette knife. I'm going to add some lighter just to kind of act as stems and to connect the Okay. Right, I think I might just go in with some blue just to contrast some of the flowers and just to really finish up that paint that we have on our palette. So we connect the foreground so I'm just grabbing blue, whatever is left on my palette, and just then probably do some blue here on the side. Okay. All right. I think like that. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do next. I post new videos every Tuesdays and Fridays, so make sure to turn your notifications on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.